Am I back?
Let's check.
Hello?
Yes. Yes, we're back.
Okay, that was strange. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Anyway, as I was mentioning, I wonder if there'll be any changes to this Vikings bullpen because Cal Cooley right now is the SPRP and is coming in every game so far. His stat line, as it is right now, 6 innings pitched, 10 hits given up, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, no strikeouts, but no home runs given up. ERA of almost 7.5, a WHIP of 2.16. So that's not great by any means. You know, I wonder if someone like Joe Butts or something there might be a change. Maybe Joe Butts takes that reign for him because I mean that's definitely been a problem. They were able to survive it in those first couple of games, but ended up, I mean, costing the game in the end. Technically, if you want to put a pin in it.
Yeah, honestly, and they did well to come back though. I do think that I don't know if Amir Williams. I think Amir Williams needs to be at short. Like I know there were the errors, but I don't think Riley Reed is it in terms of the hitting. I don't think
One
that she
for
brings that to the table enough.
She was 1 for 5. I think she's like, let's see, she she is so 64, 47 lefty. Yeah. Um. Is 43 def. I mean, we saw what 43 defense did. Like, and especially at short, that's just a tough position to like not have decent fielding at. You know. I mean, Dale Stewart is still passable. He's old and slow, but a 51-70 switch hitter. I mean, 32 speed is really bad, but it's at least better fielding. It's the best of both worlds, I think. You get the defense and you have at least a somewhat decent bat. I think you kind of need to go back to Stewart.
Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit again there, so we might want to push through these last two games a little bit then.
Okay, well, feel free to talk about this one. You guys know my feelings about this next game.
Yep. Unicorns. I mean, listen, man. At what point do you just bring up all the unicorns pictures because
They have
apparently it'll get the job done.
they have 3 games. I think they play every day next week. They play the Angels Monday, me on Tuesday, and then the Wildcats on Wednesday. I mean, heck, even if you go like 1-1, like you're
1 and 2, you mean?
well, no, like I'm just saying, like if you go 1-1 and your first 3 games you're sitting at 3-1, like why not call up Mabel against the Wildcats and like just see like as a measuring stick? I mean, granted you won't get the better progression, but like I don't know, why not? Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm really struggling with the internet for some reason. So,
If you want, you can end the stream and then I can rehost it from me.
it's back to green for now, so we'll leave it for now and see if we can just punch through this. I mean, who's to say they can't win the Super Series if they call those people up? Like we thought, like the Unicorns would be sitting at like 0-2 right now and like getting dominated, but they're not. So like, why not? Like, you know,
I mean, Elder's saying that they have no plans to compete, so I guess all of it is just mute. It's just we'll see. I don't see them. I could see them losing all 3 games next week if I'm being honest. Listen, Large March, we don't know anything in this league. Everything is RNG. You set up the roster to the best of your ability, but in the end, RNG will win. That's just the matter. The same RNG that made the Dragons go 1-9 before the recent 2 blowout. In fact, it's the same RNG that had the Dragons 1-9 before winning these past 2 games. So who actually knows? I certainly don't. Who knows? Then that's not only is that video games, but that's also just baseball. Sometimes if you hedge your bets correctly, you do win, which is like the Skulls winning last year, or like the LA Dodgers winning, right? Like, turns out the best team for it won. But we don't have to talk about that game anymore, but we can talk about, I'm telling you guys, the Walkers aren't a bad team. And I think we might need to reevaluate if the Moonshots are a good one.
No, the Moonshots are a good one, but Shuttlesworth is just first.
I don't think the Moonshots are a bad team, but they are no longer in the dominant tier in the heroic. Even like they still have, I still think that they're a team that could easily win the heroic conference. But for a long time, it felt like the Moonshots were just the full stop best team in the heroic. I no longer think that they're the full stop best team in the heroic. I think it's up for grabs now, which is just a show of, that's just the way the cookie crumbles now because the Walkers showed up.
I mean, yeah, it was about time. I mean, it's just amazing how flip of the switch Walkers like get dunked on first 2 games and then dunk on the Moonshots. It just, really, really bizarre.
Pandora. So first of all, the Serpents went 6-8 last season. Yes, they are a better team than the team that they were last season. And if you look at their base stats, they're a really good team. Same thing about 250 pitchers not showing up. Like Brock Hansen gave up 700 runs in the first loss that we had this season. Again, I'm not saying that the Moonshots are a bad team. What I am saying is that it used to be like the Moonshots are the best team in the heroic full stop, and I don't think that anymore. I just don't know if that's the case. I think part of that is because you've built for the future as well as competing now. You got a lot younger. So it's not necessarily it's a bad thing because you're definitely going to still be a presence. You're never going to have to do a rebuild, right? But there are teams that put in a lot of resources to compete this season, and they have some pretty stacked rosters.
Let's see here. A multi-hit day for everyone except for Hamilton Porterhouse, Tito offside, and only 2 home runs in this game. Ortiz and Chernley, of course, hitting for the cycle. 7 RBIs in a single game. That might be some sort of record. I honestly don't know for sure. I mean, golly, another 3 from Shaw, who finally showed up in a Walker's uniform. And then 2 from Biscuit, the rookie, kind of showing up. And then Jeff Hurls, the former starter of this team, I'm pretty sure. Former number 1 starter, former ace, I should say. So far, the best pitcher for them this season. 5 1/3, 6 hits, an earned run, a walk, 4 strikeouts. And Sasso kind of bouncing back, going 3 2/3, 1 hit, an earned, 3 walks though, 3 strikeouts. Silver lining, I guess, for the Moonshots, Sawamura doing pretty good, 2 2/3, fairly clean, gave up 3 walks, 1 strikeout. Pat Gross got rocked though. Then only got 1 out. I think Sawamura's come in a couple times. Let's see what it's at. Sawamura is at 4 1/3. 2 hits, 2 earned, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a home run. 4.14 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. Not bad for a rookie, still getting experience under him and just getting called up, doing pretty good. So there's a bit of a silver lining, I guess you can take from this game.
They'll have to rebound. Do they play next week?
Yeah,
the Moonshots.
I think they've got 3.
They have a game against the Gauchos.
Yeah, they play 3 times in the next 2 weeks.
Gauchos and then Lumberjacks and Wrongfielders.
All right, I think now we can go to oh, did I close that? I think I did. Pull it back up. Go. Go to power rankings. Knights sitting at a comfortable number 1. I think that's pretty fair. You're sitting right behind them at 2, but
I wonder how much of scoring, what was it, 45 runs in 2 games may bias that.
And how, like, a handful of people still only at 1 game, you know. Wildcats still only at 1 game. Cyclone, Serpent, Skull still only at 1 game. Still a handful of teams only at 1 game. Vikings 3-1 get the 3rd spot. Lumberjacks, then High Rollers jumping over the Wildcats at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. So is this your top 5? Like, what do you think about this top 5?
I don't think Lumberjacks should be up there. They played the Wrongfielders and the Gauchos. I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think they're top 5.
Like, period, or just with what you've
I don't
seen
think
so far this
Lumberjacks
season?
I just don't think Lumberjacks are top 5. I think they're a good team. I think that they could easily win Heroic if things go their ways, but I just don't see them as the better team. I think Knights, Drags, Vikings, Wildcats, of course. I think maybe if there's one team that I would put in there that isn't in there, honestly, right now, it's going to seem stupid, but honestly, and I know Pandora's going to riff me, but honestly, Serpents. On it, like I know I'm going to get ripped out the wazoo, but if you look at just ratings, which again, you can't base it just off ratings, but if you look at just ratings, Serpents are actually a better team than the Dragons. And so if the Dragons are going to be in the top 5, the Serpents, in my mind, have to be too. They've only played 1 game. Dragons started out 0-1, lost to the Vikings, and then look at the 2 games that they had. They had a High Rollers week. I think a more choice that won't get me flamed is to have the High Rollers and the Wildcats in the top 5 instead of the Lumberjacks and the High Rollers. I think that would be a less make fun of me type pick.
Yeah, we're still not going to see much of the Serpents coming up. They only have 1 game next week. There's just their 2nd game, and it's not until day 3. We'll get to see the Wildcats twice against the Skulls and then against the Unicorns, as I aforementioned. Skulls a couple times, so kind of a bit of a schedule balance here as we go into week 3. We'll get to see some of these other teams a bit more. Cyclones a couple of times. They'll get 2nd and 3rd games in. I mean, I think someone mentioned it in the Discord that this top 3 are 1, 2, 3 are the top.
The top. Well, I mean, the top 4.
Top 4. Oh, top 4 are all from the same conference.
Same division.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. Same division. And so far, that's pretty fair. I mean, this race is going to be tight. Has been tight. You mentioned it before the stream. You know, division against division, and the Heroic so far has been all legends. I think there's only been like 2 or 3 games though you mentioned, but it's going to be interesting to see, like, could we have a situation where like all 5 of the of that Legends division make the playoffs, and it's only the Icons title winner who makes it? Like, could we?
I don't. I mean, the only way for that to happen, I'm pretty sure, is if the Legends go perfect. Let's see, what would that be? That would be 5. That each team plays each other team, right? So honestly, like I feel like the Legends would have to be 20-5 against the Icons in order for that specifically to happen, because that's where you would have to pick up all your wins, right? Because all of the fighting in between amongst all the Heroic Legends teams.
Right. The first Heroic teams, High Rollers, and then the Wildcats. I say that's pretty fair from what we've seen so far. High Rollers bouncing back, going 2-0 this week. Wildcats so far still only have the 1 game. Big O Retrievers had a bit of a hard loss this week, but still pretty good. Then you have Unicorns looking surprisingly good. Ball players are up pretty high here. I'm not sure if that's going to stay true to form with what we've seen from their pitching, especially this week. Injury, Ilya Page with the double negative. I think they'll start maybe trending down. I think they might end up being not quite as good as I thought they will be, because that pitching is not great. It has a lot of issues. It'll be interesting to see what the Cyclones do this week with 2 games. They get off to a hot start against the Stingers. Kyle Edwards looks really good. Who are their 2 and their 3?
Ooh.
Is it Felix? It's Helix, and then it's Morello, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, I mean, 2 pretty decent pitchers, and that's going to be Cyclones 2 against Ball Players 3, and then Cyclones 3 against Serpents 2. So, pretty fair. So, it'll be interesting to see, if the Cyclones can continue what they did on opening week. And then Moonshots, Bombers being 2 of the more disappointing teams to open off the season. And then, we have a bunch of these only 1 teams, Serpent Skulls, Angels with the loss to the High Rollers. And then our couple winless teams, and then Wrongfielders to finish off the rankings. Funny to see the Wrongfielders being the worst voted team, even though they beat the Gauchos.
Yeah. I mean, they do have the worst pitching of any team in the league. That is the case, but it is interesting that is what was voted on. And to be fair, it was only by 0.1.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, like people remember, I guess, 15-0, but then didn't remember 29-5. Like, just kind of a little bit bizarre there how that worked out.
Yeah, Stingers obviously down there as well. I don't think the Walkers deserve to be there at 15, considering the 1 blowout loss they had was to the Dragons. Like, I don't, especially with what they did over the Moonshots, I don't think the Walkers deserve to be the 17th team in the league.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a peek going into next week. I've talked about it some. We start off with Ball Players Cyclones. Could be very interesting. Then we have Skulls of Rock Angels, Gauchos Overdrafts, Bombers Unicorns. That's a pretty fun first day. Could have a lot of good games. It'd be interesting to see what that Overdrafts Gauchos game look like. Kind of see if Gauchos might get a win there, or Overdrafts bounce back after the Vikings loss. Because, let's see, that's Overdrafts 3, which would be Um, Mario Luigi, I think. No,
Yeah, I think so.
Blake Turf. Blake Turf. But a lot of intrigue there. Then we go, or Gauchos jump right back into it. 2 games this week. Gauchos Moonshots, Unicorns Angels, Wrongfielders Vikings, then Wildcats Skulls. Wildcats Skulls could be interesting. Skulls, with 2 games this week, trying to bounce back from the opening week loss. Still on the title defense, trying to get some mojo back on their side. The one thing I think the Wildcats are probably going to win the Epic. I think they're just obscenely good on offense and got some good pitching. I do wonder that number 2 and number 3 spot. I forget who goes in order first, but it's Bart Polos Colon and Botch Peppers Jr. And I mean, they're by no means terrible stats wise. I mean, they're probably 180s, 190s, I'd assume. But they've kind of shown flash. I mean, Bart didn't have a great spring training game. He kind of got a few hung on him. Bart Polo is 195. Botch Peppers was a lot better than I thought. He's 211, 41, 90, 80. I forgot he's that good. But I forget. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but interesting to see what the 2-3 spot does for them. They're a little bit better than I thought in my head, so I'm probably going to end up being wrong. They'll be fine.
Yeah, and then of course we all know I'm going to be casting day 3 because we've got Cyclone Surfers and then Stingers Bombers.
Yeah, let's see. Cyclone Serpent, Stingers Bombers, Retrievers Wrongfielders, Wildcats Unicorns. Day 3 is probably kind of the least exciting day this week, unfortunately. Cyclone Serpents could be good. I don't know what to expect from Stingers Bombers at all at this point. And then Retrievers should really be able to hang it on to the Wrongfielders, and then at least on paper the Wildcats should be able to beat the Unicorns pretty easily, but who freaking knows at this point.
Metalhead, fix your game.
I offered them Cosmo or Stevens for 2 firsts. 250 pitcher for low end first pick. Who's them?
I think he's talking about ball players.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense since that's what we've been talking about. 2 firsts, like.
Well, no, but there's no point in training with the ball players because they have no picks to give.
A season 9 and a season 10 first?
Well, we can't trade season 9.
I know, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah. I think Lodgemar was talking about.
Well, I remember when he talked about it last, like.
Oh, he's talking about Wildcats.
Oh, Wildcats. Oh. Interesting.
I think Aggie likes the team as he has it set up. I don't see Aggie making any moves.
Yeah, we need to actually, I mean, it will still be 3 or 4 weeks out, but we need to set a firm trade deadline. I forget when it was last season. I think it was around like season 7 or 8 or something.
Week 8, week 7, week 8.
Yeah, somewhere around here probably would be, I think, where we normally have it. I have to go back and remember where we did it last season. But it'll be interesting to see, how, trade blocks and whatnot. Like, I agree with you, unless like injury or something happens. Like, I really don't think Wildcats make moves. I think he's pretty content. Think anything else? We've kind of been going over stats as we've gone along.
Yeah, I mean,
anything specific people want to hit on?
yeah, I don't necessarily have anything unless people in the chat have anything they want talked about. Ohio upset Virginia.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought about picking. A lot of people are picking Ohio in that one, and I didn't. I don't think OU was winning last time I saw, but it was a close game.
I still have seven of my 8 in the Elite Eight are still in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of my Sweet 16 are still in right now.
I think I lost Ohio State, but Ohio State might have only gone.
Yeah, I mean everyone lost Ohio State.
I think I only had them going Sweet 16 because I think I had Arkansas. Freaking is the tournament challenge stuff. There it is. Yikes! Today.
No minors. I mean, minor stuff happened.
I had Purdue. Oh, I had Virginia going to the Sweet 16 as well. Yikes! Ohio State's that's 3. Why did I have Georgetown 4?
You had Georgetown?
I must have misclicked there or something. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. 4.
Oof. I mean,
San Diego State lost. That's 5. Yeah, it's
yeah, yeah.
Great. But none of my Final 4 or Elite 8, I don't think. Kansas, Baylor, Arkansas.
Well, that's where the big points are. Like people will point out, like, "Oh, my back is busted," but I mean, really, it's the big points are actually legitimately like getting the Final 4 in Elite Eight, or really.
And every round doubles point wise.
Like if you can nail the 4 matchups of the Elite Eight, the Final 4, and the championship, if you just get 7 predictions right, that's literally half of all the points in the entire thing. That's what really matters.
But I think that's all. That we will have for this week. I think we're still hammering out who's going to stream when. I think.
Well, it'll probably be you Monday, right?
Okay, yeah, I think that's what I remember. I wasn't sure if we had actually ironed that out. But
because he's not able to cast on Monday, so I think you Monday, Square Tuesday, me Wednesday. I think is what we figured out.
All right, there you have it. Yeah. I think that's going to do it. Thank you all for showing up, and we will see you Monday.
Bye, everybody. And then also to you, Whitney, I'm going to be, I have to duck because I've got some stuff to do. So it was a pleasure to talk with you tonight. Pleasure to talk with everyone.
I close my eyes, the moment I capture, I feel alive. So